Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Colorado Avalanche media availability following the first round of tonight's NHL draft. We are joined by Colorado Avalanche Executive Vice President and General Manager Joe Sakic. As always, please remember to use the hand-raising feature to indicate you have a question. We will start off with Mike Chambers from the Denver Post.
Hey, Joe. Thanks for doing this. The first question is, it's the third time in 4 years that you guys have chosen a D with your first pick in the first round. I'd like to get your thoughts on that. And then secondly, about his blood clot in his arm. I assume that you guys have checked that out and it's not going to be a problem.
Yeah, the second one, he had a procedure done that had a clean bill of health from the doctors, and no issue there. He's the same sort of stuff that a couple other players in the National Hockey League have had, and have had no problem after the procedure. So we're very confident in that. And we, you know what, he was at our pick. He was our top player on the board. So we're looking not necessarily position wise, but the best available player, and it just happened to be the D-man. And as we know, you can never have enough good young defensemen. He's a bigger guy. He skates real well, moves the puck. May not be the highest point producer, but he plays a real solid two-way game, and he's going to really complement our D.
Next up, we'll go to Rod Mackey from 9 News.
Yeah, Joe, they were talking about how this is the latest you guys have picked since 2012. I guess it kind of stinks to have to sit there and wait and watch 24 other teams pick, but then again, you look back and say, this is exactly what we want. Next year, we want to move back even further.
Yeah, to be honest with you, you can pick 31. You're a happy team. So picking 25, and last year, we picked 16. So hopefully it'll be late first round here on out. But it's a long day, but it's great when you just you can sit back and watch the draft unfold. And like I said, earlier that we're fortunate that Justin was available for us. He was a guy that. We had ranked higher than we got him, and he's really going to add to the way we like to play the game. We like to play, from the back end, a lot of speed, a lot of puck moving ability, and he's a real good two-way player. He can defend well and penalty kill as well.
Next up is Adrian Dater from Colorado Hockey Now.
Hey, Joe, thanks for doing this. I guess I'll hope to switch gears for a second here. It's free agency week, and hoping to get your thoughts on the days ahead. A lot of people suggested that maybe you guys have a ton of cap space and it's going to be a bonanza. But when you do the math, it may not be the case. Is that fair to say, or what's your thoughts?
No, when you look at it, and we have a lot of guys, RFA guys that we have to take care of. That a lot of guys with ARB rights that we know the ARB numbers once they all come in. We're really not going to have a lot of room on the cap. We'll have a little bit of flexibility, and we're going to try and use that smartly. So whether it's free agency or we're more comfortable taking our time and seeing what trades are out there, and it's going to be a long off season. There's no pressure to do anything right away. We can wait and make sure we get the right player for us to try and help our team.
Next up is Arif Dean from Mile High Sports.
Hey, Joe, thanks for doing this. I have a two-parter. First off, at any point today, did you consider trading that first-round draft pick either to trade down or to trade up? And secondly, is there anybody that you're targeting tomorrow perhaps to trade back into the second round?
Well, to answer your question, there was conversation, a lot of them about moving up and a few moving back as well. But once we got to our pick and Justin was available, we didn't want to move back. So, but you have those conversations all the time, and there's usually not a lot of trades, and guys kind of get set, teams get set on their placing and kind of when the players that they like follow them, they just stand pat and make the pick. And tomorrow we'll see what happens tomorrow. We have our list, and we'll see which guys are still around, and maybe there's a possibility to move up, but we'll see where that goes tomorrow.
Couple more here for Joe. We'll go to Ryan Clark from The Athletic.
Hey, Joe, you look at last year, it's 2 years in a row you've taken a defenseman in the first 3 of the last 4 years. what's been this philosophy behind investing in defense, whether it be through the draft or trades with guys like Ryan Graves for the future? And also, how would you assess the way this defense of the future is looking? Because right now, it seems like it looks pretty bright and optimistic.
Well, I mean, it just happened. Our goal going in every draft, especially in the first round, is to take the best player available, and it just happened in the last few years. Most of them have been defensemen. So, and to us, that's a good thing. Defensemen, they're the hardest thing hardest type of players you can trade for, and when you have them, you feel pretty lucky to have that ability to put out a roster where you have a real good young defensemen, good defensemen. They can play two ways and they can move. And I like the way our team is built to from the back end to move the puck, get it up and play a north-south speed game. And we think Justin's it's a perfect guy for that because he can fly out there. And his first instinct is to move the puck and jump up with the play. So we like to entertain our team, and our roster's built to play a certain way, and that's a speed game in north south.
We'll go back to Rod Mackey from 9 News.
Joe, it's always cool when you see Justin celebrate there with family. Can you take us back? I think it was 73 years ago when you were.
That was a long time ago.
What was it like for you emotionally? Can you remember? I'm sure you remember it.
Oh, absolutely. It's a great, as a young hockey player, it's something that you dream of, to go in and get drafted by the National Hockey League. And it's a dream come true, and not just for the player, but for the entire family. And I know it's an exciting time for Justin and his family.
And last two here, Ryan Bolding from Mile High Sports.
Hey, Joe, I was just wondering what the difference is for you guys as a staff not being all at the table together on the draft floor. How do these conversations around who you want to prioritize as your higher ranked players? And then, how much effort did it take for Jerome to convince you guys that this was the one?
It wasn't tough to convince us, but we've been preparing this for a long time. A lot of Zoom calls. It's been going on weekly for the last couple of months. So our list was prepared a while ago, but every week you get together and see if you want to make different changes amongst the players. And but this is probably the most we've been prepared, just because of all the time we've had and all the Zoom calls everybody's had together. But hopefully going to next year, hopefully we can all get back to going. Well, I think it'll be back in Montreal since they didn't have it this year. I think the NHL does a great job and does it right, where all the teams get together in a certain city and you're with each other, and it makes it a special night for all involved.
And last one here, we'll go back to Ryan Clark.
Joe, when you just look at the way tonight went, I know last year you had a 4th and a 16th, and you guys are used to picking high. I mean, what's it like in that room when you're sitting there watching guys like LaPierre fall? Does that change anything for you? Or was it just, hey, Justin Barron is who you wanted, and it was just a matter of him being available when it was time for you to pick? No,
we had a cutoff on the players that we had that cutoff at a certain number where if it got past that cutoff, then we weren't going to move. That we were looking to move back maybe, but we had a certain number that if we got one of those players that we weren't going to move back. And so we had our list and we just followed our list. And like I said, we were happy that Justin was available for us.
Great. Thank you so much for the time, Joe. We appreciate it.
All right. Thanks.
Everyone, we will have Justin Barron on in just a few minutes.
Hello?
Hi, Justin. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. All right, everyone, we are now joined by defenseman Justin Barron. Again, please remember to use the hand-raising feature to indicate you have a question. We will get started with Ryan Clark from The Athletic.
Justin, for starters, congratulations. Of course, out there, it's approaching midnight. So take us through what it was like to get picked by the Avs, but also you are now one of 5 Nova Scotians who are either going to be a prospect or a player with this team. How would you describe how immense that is given just what it means to that province right now?
Yeah, no, it's really special, and I think sometimes the Maritimes has been overlooked for hockey and prospects, but I think in the past few years we've really shown that we have a ton of great players from around here, and I think the hockey down here is really on the come up, and it's only getting better. And yeah, it was a long night sitting there, but it's all worth it. I couldn't be happier to be a part of the Avalanche organization.
Next up is Rod Mackey from 9 News.
Yeah, Justin, we just had Joe on right before you, and he was talking about, when he got drafted way back when, and said it's not just about you, it's about the family. How special is that for you? It's, you're there with family, you get to celebrate a little bit with them, and obviously it's mostly about you, but it's not only about you.
Yeah, no, they're such a huge part, and I wouldn't be where I am today without them. And they've given me every opportunity to play all kinds of sports growing up, but hockey especially. And they sacrifice a lot of time, a lot of money, and a lot of their own lives so that I could pursue hockey. And I really wouldn't be where I am today without them. And it's so special to cherish this moment with them. And I'm so thankful to have them in my life.
Next up, Adrian Dater, Colorado Hockey Now.
Welcome to the Avs, Justin. Are you a little surprised that maybe you fell? I mean, a blood clot doesn't seem like in the arm doesn't seem like a career-ending injury or anything. Avalanche think they stole the draft with you, and your skating is top notch. Again, though, do you think I was a little unfair based on the blood clot thing, or I know you're not going to feel self-pity probably, but was it just a bummer thinking you might go higher and that kind of thing just maybe set you back a little bit in the draft?
Yeah, I mean, that hasn't really crossed my mind now. I think getting the procedure done to fix what caused the blood clot was the right decision for me and my career. And we informed all the teams of that. We sent them all the medical records. And at that point, it's really up to them. And obviously, Colorado kind of saw that, the procedure was done well. And it was a good decision, and they could kind of look past that and, look at the bright spots in my game. And you know what, I couldn't be happier to be a part of the Colorado Avalanche.
Next up, we'll go to Ron Knabenbauer from Avalanche.com.
Hey there, Justin. Welcome to the Avalanche family. I just want to know, what was kind of the immediate reaction for you and your family to hear that you're being drafted by the Avalanche, a team that has a couple of Nova Scotians in its system, obviously with Nate, and just being part of the family?
Yeah, it was super exciting, and you almost black out there for a minute when you hear your name called. It's pretty surreal, but I know Alex Newhook, Bowen Byer, Matt Steinberg, Shane Bowers. I know all of them pretty well. I was able to skate once with McKinnon there when he was home before returning back to Colorado. It's pretty cool to see all the great players that they have in the organization. And a lot of them I happen to know. And it's special to now be a part of that.
Next up is Eric Dean from Mile High Sports.
Hey, Justin, congratulations on getting picked. I was just wondering, I mean, even though this year's draft was a little bit different and virtual, have you heard from any of the current Avalanche players? Has anybody reached out to you since being selected?
Yeah, I got a text from Nathan McKinnon and Cale Makar as well. So that's definitely pretty cool. I've been lucky enough to meet Nathan, but I haven't met Cale Makar before, and obviously he's a special player, and I love to watch him play. So that was pretty special. And Joe Sakic called me as well right after, so it was pretty cool talking to him.
Next up is Scott McDonald from Colorado Hockey Now.
Hey, Justin. So we hear a lot from, we read a lot of scouting reports, I guess, before these drafts happen. A lot of us draft guys, read other people's opinions on who you are as a person or as a player. But I'm curious, give us your own scouting report of who you are and what you bring to the future of this Avs blue line.
Yeah, I think I'm a two-way defenseman. I think I skate really well, and I think the game really well, and I think those would probably be my two biggest strengths. But yeah, I kind of pride myself on being a guy that can play on the PK, play on the power play, play last minute of the game, and a guy that can play against other teams' top lines. So yeah, I think I kind of bring a mix in that sense of that two-way style defenseman game.
We'll take a few more here for Justin. Ryan Bolding from Mile High Sports.
Hey, Justin, I was just wondering if you could tell us sort of your mentality and what you've done to get through these challenges that you faced in getting to this point in your career and remaining positive and knowing that you can continue on.
Yeah, I think it's important to you kind of have to see the brighter side of it. And I know for me, my brother was super helpful last year with my injury. He had an injury his draft year as well, so he went through some adversity, and this was definitely the first big injury for me that gave me some adversity in my hockey career so far. And yeah, I just think it's important to keep working. Yeah, just to know that you're going to recover. There's brighter days ahead, and I think being here in Halifax and with the Mooseheads and in my family and just having such good people around me, that made it even easier for me. So yeah, I'm really thankful for them.
Last two here, Ryan Clark from The Athletic.
Justin, just jumping back to the blood clots real quick. I mean, when have you been cleared to play? Because Alan Heppel said it's like 4 to 6 weeks. I know you missed the season opener. And also, I mean, how does something like that affect your psyche going into, the week of the draft, or does it really? Because, I mean, granted, you don't know where you're going to get picked, but there's an idea you're going to be a late first rounder regardless.
Yeah, I think leading up to the draft and in all the interviews I did in the spring and the summer, I think this week it was some nerves, but it was a lot of excitement too. And I think kind of at this point, I think I did everything I could have done to kind of put myself in a good situation for the draft. And I kind of figured whoever wanted me would be the team to pick me. And yeah, sorry, if you could just repeat the second part of that question again there. I just slipped my mind.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Just what I was asking was, how much is it playing to your psyche knowing that, yes, you're going to be a late first rounder, but there's always still that possibility may or may not happen? Did that enter your mind or not so much?
I mean, it probably slipped in a little bit, but I just tried to stay positive, and I had a little bit of an idea of kind of where the range I was going to go in. And yeah, it just so happened that I was there at 25 and Colorado picked me. And yeah, no, I couldn't be happier.
And last one here for Justin. We'll go back to Ron Knabenbauer, ColoradoAvalanche.com.
Justin, what is it like for you to be drafted by your hometown team with Halifax, play for your hometown team in Halifax? And what's kind of your goal for this season once you are able to get back on the ice and then play and improve your game? Thank you.
Yeah, I think just moving forward this year in Halifax, I think we have a really good team. And I know for me, I want to be a big player on that team and play a big role. And, just honestly work on all aspects of my game and hopefully dominate a little bit more. And yeah, I know for me getting so close to the President's Cup and Memorial Cup 2 years ago, and that's definitely been a goal of mine to get back there. And yeah, I know I'm hungry and eager to hopefully get there and achieve that. But yeah, no, hopefully I'll be back in I would say probably 2 weeks to 3 weeks. Is kind of when I'm hoping to be back and playing and cleared. And I've been skating and working out here the last week or so. And yeah, no, I'm feeling really good, and I can't wait to get back on the ice and start playing again.
Thank you for the time tonight, Justin. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.